One of the most difficult but important principles in the practice is something the Buddha called learning to see renunciation as freedom. For most of us, that seems to be a restriction. As when you're getting the mind to focus on the breath. Before you make up your mind to do that, the mind doesn't seem restrained, doesn't seem to have any violent wishes or disorderliness or unruliness. But then all of a sudden, as soon as you tell it, stay with the breath, it has all kinds of other places it wants to go. Complaining that it's being constricted, complaining that it's being tied down. You have to learn not to listen to those arguments. Because as the Buddha explains, when the mind really does settle down with one object, it's freed from a lot of things. He talks about progress through stages of concentration as stage-by-stage release. Simply getting the mind to stay with the breath. You're released from unskillful mental states, released from sensual desires. And that is a state of freedom. But there's a part of their mind that doesn't see that way. In fact, that part of the mind gets a lot of encouragement from the world outside. Partly it's because it's in other people's interest to have us chained to our sensual desires, because once we're chained to our sensual desires, they have a hook to sell us things, make us buy. And our desires play along with that. We mistrust the impulse toward celibacy, the impulse towards renunciation. I was talking a while back to a Zen practitioner, admittedly someone who wasn't all that advanced, about issues of conflict resolution in the community. And I pointed out how having the Vinaya as our standard was very liberating. And to him that was an unusual idea, that rules could be liberating. Part of their quest, he said, was to learn how to see beyond rules, so that you weren't confined by them. So how could rules be liberating? Well, I pointed out, for one thing, we don't have to sit around discussing what the standards of behavior in the community are going to be. Week after week after week. It's all settled. The standards are livable, they're humane. So that having the standards established liberates us to have a lot more time to practice. I mean, that's just a very basic example. In other ways as well. Popular culture likes to hear about monks and nuns who are having trouble with their vows, who either disrobe or show their desires in other ways, shows that they're being confined and restricted, that they really miss the things that they gave up. But when you really get a taste of what it's like to get the mind to settle down without having to hanker after other things, you find how liberating it is. When you see the rewards, then you are more and more willing to let go of the things that you may normally be attached to. In favor of the freedom of not being attached. This impulse to mistrust the principle of renunciation isn't just an American or a Western thing. It goes way back in Buddhist history. For example, the Mahayana idea that arahants are stuck in a limited nirvana. They feel that they have more freedom because they have one foot in both worlds, they say. Well, nirvana is the opposite of being stuck. For one thing, it's not a place.